Hello everyone, welcome to eLearning Nuggets channel. Today I am going to talk about computer memory. What does the word memory strike to you? Yes, memory means mind, our brain. And what does our brain do? It stores information. You're right. Your computer memory also is going to store data and information inside the computer. So let us look at this chapter now. Okay, computer memory. In computers, the storage unit is called as memory. Computer memory store information and it can be read and retrieved when and as you require. Some examples of computer memory is your primary memory, that is RAM, random access memory, your hard disk, your pen drive, etc. So let us look at this in detail now. This is the types of memory. Memory can be broadly classified into two types, primary memory and secondary memory. Primary memory is again divided into RAM and ROM. RAM stands for random access memory and ROM stands for read-only memory. Secondary memory is divided again into two types. One is hard disk, then you have floppy disk, optical disk, and you have your flash drive or pen drive. Optical disk is again made up of your CD-ROM, your DVD-ROM, and your blue disk ROM. Okay, Blu-ray disk ROM. What is primary memory? The primary memory is a volatile memory. That means this memory is available as long as the power is on. Once the power goes off, this memory is no longer available. So it is a volatile memory. Example, you have random access memory and your ROM, which is a read-only memory. ROM actually comes as a part of your firmware, which I will tell you later. Let us look at RAM. RAM is your random access memory. So random access memory, it is also known as main memory. It is also called as primary memory. It's a volatile memory and it takes instructions continuously to the CPU and back from the CPU to the memory. So it is the main memory, so it is very fast. It has the access time of this has to be very fast and it has to store the data, and once the data is taken into the memory, it will be sent to the once the data is taken from the CPU to the memory, after processing, it will be sent to the output. If you remember the block diagram of the computer which I had explained earlier, we know the role that memory plays in. I told you that from the input unit, it goes into the primary memory, and from the primary memory, data is sent into the CPU. The CPU, after processing, sends this processed data back to the memory, and memory is the place where we are storing the data. So from here again it goes to the output device. So I have explained this in detail in my previous video, how the computer works. Please refer to that video. I will give a link of that video also. Now coming back to this, the random access memory, it's a faster, cheaper, and and the speed is very high. Okay, what are the different types of RAM? RAM is of different types. You have SRAM, okay, which stands for static random access memory, DRAM, dynamic random access memory, and DDRAM, which is double data random access memory. So each of this type of RAMs which you can see here, their speed and their speed is very high. So it has been an improvisation over the period of time. What is the difference between SRAM and DRAM? See, SRAM, the word SRAM stands for static random access memory, and DRAM stands for dynamic random access memory. So both this memory is volatile, but SRAM is static as long as the power is on. That means the charge of this particular static RAM will remain for some time before it gets erased off. Whereas in dynamic RAM, there is a refreshment of charge, which there is always the charge is getting refreshed periodically. Periodically means in a small time period, let us say 2 seconds or 1 second. It will be much lesser, but I'm just giving it as an example. So let us say every 2 seconds the data is being refreshed in the DRAM. It keeps getting erased and new data is being filled up. Whereas in SRAM, the data is a little more constantly stored till the power is on. This is the main difference between SRAM and DRAM. SRAM is costlier than DRAM, and DRAM is definitely a little more cheaper than the SRAM. So where do we need this particular feature of storing the data for some time. So SRAM can be used in cache. See, cache is a high speed memory, which I will be telling towards the end of this session. Cache is a high speed memory which is used in the CPU to access all the instructions more quickly from the memory. So to use this particular cache, we are using SRAM capacity compared to DDRAM. Next we talk about ROM. ROM stands for read-only memory. Read-only memory, it's a permanent and semi-permanent memory. Why we are saying this is, ROM, as the name suggests, the name says read-only memory. That means already some instructions are programmed into ROM. So for example, if you see when you boot the computer, boot means, the word booting means starting the computer. When you just switch on the computer, you immediately see a black screen, and you also see that okay, that some instructions are being loaded into the computer and your operating system starts up, so you are able to start using the computer. So who is giving these instructions? All this is stored in BIOS, that is basic input output system. It's a chip which is also in which the ROM is a part of this BIOS. So all these instructions are stored in this read-only memory, in this chip, and it is able to boot your computer systems. What are the different types of ROM? ROM, we saw the development of computers, generations of computers changing, the ROMs also developed over the period of time. It also got better. So you have 4 types of ROM: PROM, programmable read-only memory; EPROM, erasable programmable read-only memory; EEPROM, electrically erasable programmable read-only memory; and flash EPROM. I will briefly tell you about this. PROM is programmable read-only memory. That means, see, I told you a ROM. Okay, a ROM is also known as a mask ROM. See, the ROM which you get inside along with the BIOS and all, it's already programmed. Some instructions are already programmed in it. But in programmable read-only memory, the manufacturers give a blank ROM to the user, and according to his requirement, he can program that particular ROM. Okay, but after it is programmed, it cannot be erased. Now a further development happened in EPROM, where you can electrically erase, you can use the, not electrically, sorry, you can use the UV light to erase this and then write the particular instructions. In EEPROM, here also, once the ROM instructions are written, they can be erased and it will be written electrically, not using the UV light. So this is the main difference between all these types of memory. And then you have the flash EPROM. Flash EPROM is the latest one which has come in. Okay, the flash EPROM is much more advanced, and it is used as a ROM in many of the tablets and all your laptops and notebooks nowadays. Okay. Now let us look at the difference between RAM and ROM. See, these are some of the important questions which may come in your exam point of view. So you can also make a note of all these differences. I have given it as simple as possible so that it will be easier for you to remember and write. So RAM stands for random access memory, ROM stands for read-only memory, and here the data in RAM is very fast compared to ROM. Okay, the data is, RAM is volatile, whereas ROM is it can be volatile or not volatile, and RAM is expensive compared to ROM. And types of RAM that you have is SRAM, DRAM and DDRAM, and here you have ROM as PROM, EPROM, EEPROM and the flash PROM. Okay, now coming to our secondary storage device. Okay, secondary memory. I told you the memory is divided in primary and secondary memory. Now we will talk about the secondary memory. See, secondary memory is a permanent memory. See, I told you that RAM is, it will work only till the power is on. Let us take one simple example. In your classroom, like in a particular timetable per day, you may have around, say, let us say you have 4 subjects. Now when these subjects are happening, each teacher comes in, she writes her particular subject on the board. Let me say computer science, I write on the board, and when I am taking that 1 hour of class, I fill the board with all whatever the lesson is about computer science. And once the class hour is over, another teacher comes in. Another teacher comes there and she is going to explain her particular subject. Let us say she is going to explain physics, or she is going to explain business studies. So what is happening here? When that teacher comes in, her data will be put on the whiteboard. So once that class is over, the next class, if you're having maths for example, that teacher is going to erase all the contents of that business studies, and then he or she is going to put the maths lessons on the board. This is what happens in the primary memory. Every time data is getting erased. Now we should find a solution where our data is going to become permanent. For that we use the secondary memory storage. Okay, so secondary memory storage is again your hard disk, your pen drive, your CD-ROM, your DVD-ROM, all comes under secondary storage device. So in the class example, as I was telling you before, if you want to make the data permanent, what the teacher writes on the board, what will you do? You will write running notes, or some notes will be given by the teacher herself, so that whatever is being taught that lesson remains with you. So in the secondary storage also, that's what happens. The permanent memory is going to be stored for you, and you can retrieve this data when and where you are required. Hence it's a permanent memory. So what happens? It automatically becomes a non-volatile memory, and the data storage capacity is very high. Okay, so let us look at the secondary storage devices, your hard disk and your floppy disk. Many of you would have heard these terms. But what are these hard disk and floppy disks made of? They are made up of magnetic disks, which are thin circular plastic plates on which some magnetic material is coated. So this allows direct access to data, and data is read on both sides from these magnetic disks. Okay, hard disk. Yes, I'm sure most of you would have seen this hard disk in your computer. Yes, so it is also a secondary storage device which is used for retrieval of digital data. It has platters coated with magnetic material. So if you can see this particular picture here, so this is the magnetic material, and these are the platters. Platters are, like a concentric circles where the data is being stored, and it is read continuously. What are the different types of hard disk that is available now? You have PATA, this parallel advanced technology attachment, serial ATA, that is SATA, so small computer system interface, and you have solid state drives. Okay. Now coming to floppy disk was earlier used as a storage medium. Nowadays actually we are not using much of floppy disk. Here also this floppy disk is also a magnetic medium, and it is covered by a thin plastic cover. If you see, floppy means it's flimsy, it is not very strong like a hard disk, but it is carryable. You can carry this data wherever you want. In earlier times, nowadays we have pen drive and USB drive, so we have not using this floppy disk at all. There is no floppy drives in many of the computers, but in US some computers are still using this floppy disk. Okay, they come in variety of sizes, you can observe here. So floppy disk is also a secondary storage medium. It's made up of magnetic material. Now coming to optical disk, I think this is a very common words which we have been using in the day-to-day technologies, like what is CD, DVD and all. Yes, so optical disc, the word optic itself means light. So here it is going to use the laser to read and write the data. So CD-ROM, it stands for compact disk read only memory. So it can store up to 700 MB of data. Okay, and DVD stands for digital versatile disk. Here also it is going to store data up to 4.7 GB. You can compare this difference between these two. And then you have the BD-ROM. BD-ROM stands for blue disk gray. Okay, this is also going out of what do you say, it's not very popular now. Okay, but it can store high definition videos, like more than DVD, it can store more high definition videos in this particular BD-ROM. Okay, can you see this? All are circular and all are having the same look, but then they differ in the storage capacity. Now coming to flash drive or your pen drive or your USB flash, different names for this. Okay, so your pen drive or your thumb drive, it is also called as thumb drive, is another storage medium which is very popular. Why? Because it is very easy to store data and then to take that data and store it somewhere else. Okay, it's a removable disk. and it is very small, it is very lightweight, so your data can be carried with you anywhere. Now you may say that now we have the Google Cloud, I mean you have the cloud computing is much more faster and it can be used in all devices. You are absolutely right. Your cloud computing is another topic which I will cover in the next of my video series, but we will concentrate on what is being given in your book. So you have to know about what is flash drive, because questions will be asked on this. What is a pen drive? Then you should say that it's a secondary storage medium. It is very fast, and then it is very cheap. You can carry the data anywhere. It's a removable disk. Okay, it's lightweight, and it is used in many places. Now I've given the difference between flash drive and pen drive. See, flash drive is a general term that is used. It's a general term. So even your pen drive is also called as a flash drive. Okay, but flash drive, some subtle differences are there. Subtle means small differences are there. Like for example, flash drive can be your pen drive or your USB drive. Okay, memory card is a kind of flash drive. The chip in your pen drive is a flash drive. Okay, whereas your pen drive is used externally, whereas flash drive can be used internally or externally. So these are some of the differences with flash drive and pen drive. Now coming to the last part of our memory, you have your cache memory. See, cache memory is a high speed memory which is found between the main memory and the CPU. Okay, so what is the main use of cache memory? See, cache memory is mainly used because every time the CPU has to go up to the memory to seek information. So instead of that, one small memory, one small high speed fast memory, that SRAM which I told you in the earlier slides, okay, that can be placed here. So what happens here is cache memory need not travel from here to here. It can directly access its some frequently used contents here itself. Okay, so mainly cache memory is used when you are frequently using contents. For example, let me take the internet. Let me say you keep on opening the google.com, or you keep on opening some frequently used websites like say YouTube. You are keeping on opening these websites. So the CPU need not actually go up to this main memory to fetch this particular data. So frequently used data can be kept in this main memory itself. So what happens in the cache memory itself? So here what happens, the CPU will just travel so much, and it can always do the work much faster. So this is the main use of cache memory. There are three types of cache: L1 cache, L2 cache, and L3 cache. Okay, so this is a brief introduction to memories. So coming to the review, I would briefly tell you that there are two types of memory: computer memory, primary memory, secondary memory. You have the RAM, ROM, and the cache memory here, and secondary memory is divided into hard disk, floppy disk, optical disk, and flash drive or pen drive. Okay, optical disk is again made up of CD-ROM and DVD-ROM. See, as far as your first few portions are concerned, you should be aware of all these different types of memory, and also you should know the acronyms, like what is the full form of CD-ROM, what is the full form of DVD-ROM, what is the use of primary memory. Okay, give two examples of secondary memory, give two examples of primary memory. So these will be the set of questions that you may get in your exams. So be prepared for all these questions. They may also ask you the difference between primary memory and secondary memory. They may also ask you the difference between RAM and ROM. So these are some of the questions that we can expect from this particular unit. Hope you have understood this particular unit. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. And also, if you have not understood any of the concepts that is being taught, please comment in the comment section and clarify your doubts. I will be always ready to clarify the doubts. Thank you so much.